Welcome to Dawn. This is a space where we have some time throughout the week to reflect on what God has to say for us as a family. And so this releases every Sunday, but it doesn't necessarily mean you have to get up at 5 a.m. to watch the Dawn video, which you can listen to it and watch it throughout the whole week when you have some time to yourself in quietness to just really listen to what God may be speaking to you today. I'm going to be reading a passage to us today from Romans chapter 5, verses 6. And it reads this: "For while we were still weak, at the right time Christ died for the ungodly. For one will scarcely die for a righteous person, though perhaps for a good person one would dare even to die. But God shows his love for us in while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. Since therefore we have now been justified by his blood, much more shall we be saved by him from the wrath of God. For while we were still enemies, we were reconciled to God by the death of his Son. Much more, now that we are reconciled, shall we be saved by his life. More than that, we also rejoice in God through our Lord Jesus Christ, through whom we have now received reconciliation." And I love this passage because it gives us an idea of God's love for us and God's sacrifice. I recently got married, and I'm not sure if you guys have ever been in love before, but love is such a beautiful but scary thing. And I remember when I was doing my vows with my wife, I pledged to her my love and my commitment to her. And so I gave her in front of people, in front of God and our people and our family, I gave her my whole heart, for better, for worse. And it doesn't matter how hard times are going, I'm still gonna love her and she still has my heart. And we've been married for almost 4 months and it's been beautiful. But it's also been quite difficult at the same time as we introduce each other's cultures, as we introduce each other's ways of dealing with things, emotionally especially, but also simple things like, why don't you do the dishes kind of thing. And we have these expectations that really put arguments in the household. But nevertheless, through hard times, because I love her and because she loves me, we've been able to talk through the difficult things that we've encountered together. One of the things that we've really gotten to do together as a married couple is to really sit through the hard conversations and to really sit through the hard experiences that we're experiencing as a married couple. And it's quite interesting because I say that, and when we look at this passage, we get an idea of God giving his whole heart to us. And it's a beautiful imagery because he says, Romans says, the author Paul says that no one would ever die for anyone. You know, even for a good person, one might think to die for that good person, but for an ungodly person or someone who has no right, would anyone think of dying for them? But God says this: he tells his Son to leave his throne, to come down to this earth, not as a king, not in a fancy robe and a crown, but a king who was born in a manger. And his representation of his love for us was demonstrated through the cross, where not only did he give his whole heart to us, but he gave his body as well as a sacrifice to prove to you and I that we have been made worthy. We have been made worthy. That Christ died for us, even when we were still sinners, even when we mess up today. The representation of the cross and his love is this: I've given you my whole heart. And the question is, have you given your whole heart to God? And it's quite interesting because we know, and I know when you sit in your quiet time, there are still things that we've allowed God to really take hold of. But there are still some things in your life that you are holding close to your chest. And God is saying, give it to me. Give me your whole heart, because I have so much to give you, just as I have given my whole heart to you. Through the hurt, through the pain, through the ugliness, through everything that you've experienced, God can take that and make it into something beautiful. Because like I said earlier, through the cross was a pure demonstration of him giving us his heart and saying, this is how much I love you. This is how much I care for you. This is a demonstration of my love for you. Now, I don't know where you're at, whether you've had a tough time or you are sailing through life. But take a moment in this time as we worship to just really reflect on those hidden chests in our hearts that we are afraid to let God really take hold of. Because God desires all of our hearts, not 99.9% of our hearts. He wants it all, just as he's given us his all through the cross.
Grace runs as deep as your scars. You pulled me from the clay. You set me on a rock and called me by your name. You made my heart whole again. Lifted up, and my knees know it's all for your glory. I might stand with more reasons to sing than to feel. You pulled me from the clay. You set me on a rock. You called me by your name. You made my heart whole again. So here I stand, surrender, I need you now. Hold my heart now and forever. My soul cries out. Once I was broken, but you love my whole heart through. Sin has no hold on me, 'cause your grace holds me now. That grace owns the ground where the grave did. Where all my shame lays, left for dead in your wake. You crashed those age-old gates. You left no stone unturned. You stepped out of that grave, showing me all the way. So here I stand, high and surrender. I need you now. Hold my heart now and forever. My soul cries out. Here I stand, high and surrender. I need you now. Hold my heart now and forever. My soul cries out. Here I stand, high and surrender. I need you now. Hold my heart now and forever. My soul cries out. 'Cause once I was broken, but you love my whole heart through. Sin has no hold on me, 'cause your grace holds me now. Healed and forgiven. Look where my chains are now. Death has no hold grace holds me now. Your grace holds me now. Your grace holds me now. Your grace holds me now.